here we are, fellas and gals. How are we, huh? Interesting first two acts, huh? Very, very interesting. Before we start the recap, however, pulls. When it comes to the case of mualani and her weapon, I got mualani and her weapon, so I was in a good mood heading into this quest. Wonder if that influenced my perception. Give me some biases. I am not someone who's beyond tampering of the mind. I could be subjected quite easily, my friends. It's a weakness I have, but a strength I have is being able to admit my weaknesses, so there is that. The opening Archon quest on Natlan saw a legendary fight between the Pyro Archon and the Captain, the winner of which I thought was pretty clear, but I mean, Enigmata's followers are clearly among us. We got some very interesting Paimon lore, learned what's happening with the Pyro energy in Natlan. We learned a human somehow came out victorious in the Archon War because Natlan has never had a god. The Pyro Archon's 500-year plan to save this dying nation is in full swing, but something's wrong. Two heroes are missing. The captain, El Capitano, is the biggest fucking man of honor I have ever seen. And lastly, we still don't know shit about the Abyss, despite the fact that everyone, including the NPCs in Natlan, are fucking experts. What the fuck have you niggas been the last 4 years, bro? How are you all experts on this seemingly mystery even to the gods? Anyway, this recap's gonna be kind of long, so it's best we... The story starts where it started in Fontaine, at this little, what do you call this shit, a harbor? Some of the gang came to see us off, and we take the most awkward commemorative photo in human history. I mean, realistically, think about it. When have you ever taken a picture with friends where everyone is just keeping to themselves? Their fucking arms are just by their sides. No hug chain, bunny ears, nothing. You niggas are just standing there like a bunch of barn animals. We walk over to Natlan, which is just west of Sumeru's deserts, and immediately notes nothing of import. We inadvertently walk into this other realm, come help a Saurian out, name it, and keep it. As we head deeper into Natlan, we come across a disturbing scene within the village. And it's a black man who's in possession of red hair. I'd like to think of myself as a fairly well-traveled individual. I can't say I've ever encountered a red-headed nigga in the wild. This is a first for me. Talako here and his friend Cambodia are telling the little one they plan to ditch their team of 3, thus leaving her alone for the upcoming pilgrimage. Little Kachina sees us worry about her from a distance and approaches, introducing herself with her ancient name Uthabidi. Kachina tells us a little bit about the pilgrimage. It's an annual Natlantian competition meant to discern the strongest of the tribes. People fight to get the highest ranks, and the winners get the honor of fighting in the Night Warden Wars. There's 2 phases, team play in the first, and individual fights in the second. What we just witnessed earlier were her 2 teammates dipping her team, as they did not like their odds of making it out of the team stage, meaning Kachina will have to go at it alone. After learning of all this, we offer to join Kachina's team because we are Tivat Jesus, but she tells us only people from Natlan can join the pilgrimage. After showing us around the tribe a bit, she takes us to a big rock and states this item is meant to symbolize the tribe's Wayab. Kachina tells us a Wayab is a godlike entity that dwells beneath the earth, while the Pyro Archon comes from above. Each of the 6 tribes have a Wayab that provides protections and blessings for the clans. She also tells us the Wayab know the past, which I guess is supposed to be some sort of fucking accomplishment. I know the past, nigga, that's the... I'm a Wayab now! But more interestingly, the Wayab can see the future. The chief of the tribe then walks over, and I kid you not, it's a nigga with 3 picks in his hair, which is nuts, bro. What is this? Chief gives us a rundown of ancient names. He tells us ancient names are a way for the people to preserve the heroic deeds of the past. By passing down ancient names, they remind themselves of the ones who once held that name and what they did for Natlan. Kachina then chimes one of the people who had her ancient name, Uthabidi. Uthabidi. Yeah. It sounds a lot like, diabetes and orthopedy, but... Fought in 27 Night Warden Wars. Chief then finishes the conversation off by telling us it's the Wayab who pick those to inherit an ancient name. Kachina offers to take us to the stadium, and we accept. As we head out, we come across a statue of the 7 and decide to pick up our new flame powers. However, when we touch the statue, nothing happens. And then, in perhaps the most shocking scene of the 21st century in all of media, the Traveler shows off his powers. I'm stunned! He remembered he had powers. As we continue our trek forward, the traveler can't stop thinking about why he hasn't been able to attain the power of pyro from the statue. So, Kachina offers us some insight about why that may be the case, and says it could be because the Pyro Archon is unique. In other lands, the Archons are mostly gods, but in all of Natlan's history, all the Archons have been humans. Kachina then adds, even after a human becomes an Archon, they still grow old, and while she doesn't say die, I mean, nigga, they die. Kachina states it must be a coincidence that the Statue of the Seven looks like the current Archon, and that many different people have been the Pyro Archon over the years. She then tells us the pilgrimage is how they pick the Pyro Archon. Anyone can become it, you just gotta be strong enough. The current Pyro Archon is said to be the strongest fighter Natlan has ever seen. When we make it to the stadium entrance, we become acquainted with Kachina's friends, Kanich and Mualani. Kanich inquires about Kachina's teammates, and when she reveals they ditched her, Mualani throws her team onto Kanich to join teams with Kachina. All the while, Kanich gives us some more information on the Night Warden Wars. It's a real war against the Abyss. They tell us the reason it's a prize is because it's a great honor to defend the homeland. Furthermore, there's not really a risk, given if you die, you can simply be revived thanks to the Ode of Resurrection, a blessing from the Pyro Archon herself. We try once again to join the pilgrimage, but are told we can't, because part of the purpose of the pilgrimage is to collect something called contending fires from the battle. These contending fires fuel the sacred flame, which in turn helps keep Natlan safe from the Abyss. So, win or lose, simply participating in the pilgrimage helps to keep Natlan safe. However, these contending fires can only be produced by the people of Natlan, so that's why we can't join. We then get some more information on the Ode of Resurrection. We wonder if people can just be revived willy-nilly. Why not send the whole fucking nation to fight? The men, the women, the children, the cows, the donkeys. Kidditch tells us, first off, only people with an ancient's name can be revived, so every regular dude in history who's ever won the pilgrimage does not get to fight in the Night Warden Wars. We are then told the second thing that must happen is you must win. This confuses us, as why would the winners need to be revived, but are then reminded it's a team that fights the Abyss, so as long as one person remains from the team and emerges victorious, everyone else will be revived. If you and your entire team die, however, you die forever, and your ancient name as well. Kanich tells us he's actually died once. This left him wandering around the land of the Wyebs. The realm of the Wyebs isn't a traditional place, and very few can even get there. It's called the Night Kingdom, and exists between life and death. Jaw laments the fact that Kanich was ever revived in the first place. We all eat food the day before the pilgrimage, and unable to read the room, Kachina cries like a little bitch. While she's gone, Kanich does inform us, however, that Mualani is a veteran of the Night Warden War, so much so that unlike him, she's never even had to be revived. The next day, the opening ceremony commences, and the rules of the team game are described, and it's just, the teams will be scattered around Natlan, get 3 flames, bring them back to the stadium quickly, and you win. The Pyro Archon Mavuika reveals herself, glowing hair and all, and just says, just go fight, niggas. We need the fires. Anyway, the 2-man team of Kachina and Mualani prevail, and so next up is the individual combat section. They gotta run the ones. Before all this, however, 2 of Kachina's greatest haters arrive to try and bully her because she beat them in team play, but we scare them off. In the competition, Kachina fights and gets Spartan kicked by a fat guy, and fights. And is this the first NPC with a vision? I can't remember anyone else. Kachina is now 1 win away from fighting in her first ever Night Warden Wars, but her final opponent... oh, what cruel twist of fate is this? Her final opponent is Mualani, a veteran of the Night Warden Wars.
We've arrived at the final phase. The winner of this match will take the final spot among the victors. Give it up for a long-time contender and first-time finalist from the Children of Echoes, Kachina!
You get this, Kachina!
And her opponent from the people of the Springs, a young prodigy and Night Warden Wars veteran, Mualani! This face-off between old friends promises to be an explosive showdown. May the best warrior win!
You've come so far. Still nervous? Why does it have to be you? Still, I'm glad in a way. Even if I lose, I won't have any regrets. Come on! Kachina, this is no time to be modest. I know you want this more than me. And it's about time you start sounding like it, okay? I want to win. Mualani, this one's mine! Look.
The winner is, from the Children of Echoes, Conchita!
The winners of the pilgrimage and those who will partake in the Night Warden Wars are then brought forth, and they are Chaska, Yansan, NPC nigga 2, Electric Boogaloo, and Kachina. Mavuika congratulates them and wishes them luck on the Night Warden Wars. On the outside of the stadium, Mualani invites us to check out her tribe, and we oblige. The long-awaited beach episode commences, and we catch sight of a man bathing with a hornless yak in the public springs. How deplorable. Don't you just hate when that happens? Mualani says her people treat every day like it's a holiday. I swear I've heard that somewhere before. She wants to take us into the springs, but is then interrupted by the springs monitor, Atea. Atea reminds Mualani that outsiders are to be brought to the kiddie springs first, because the hot springs tend to scald those who are new to them. Mualani tells us a bit more about Atea, stating she was once a great warrior who often threw parties at the hot springs that even the Pyro Archon would attend, but was then stabbed by an abyssal monster, and due to the lingering abyssal powers within her body, she can't go into the hot springs anymore as they worsen her condition. As we head to the kiddie springs, we come across two dudes and whatever the fuck this thing is. They states they've recently seen Atea going into the abandoned hot spring by the cave, which must mean her condition is improving to the point she can bathe in them once again, and as such, they want to renovate the spring and throw her a party at the hot springs. Mualani states she'll help later. We enter the hot spring, and for the first time in like 4 years, the traveler changes their clothes. I mean, think about it. They don't have fucking spare clothes on Teyvat. They can't get this outfit anywhere on Teyvat, so this is the first time in 4 years. After our trip, we go to help renovate the hot spring and then head to the nearby inn to rest. We are then awakened by a panicked Mualani, who informs us the abyss is attacking. We take out some monsters and then check in with the chief, who tells us the monsters are coming from an abyssal pylon, which is just a gate created by the abyss that allows monsters from the Night Kingdom to enter the real world. We take care of a nearby pylon, but when we spot monsters heading into the hot spring we just renovated, we realize there's another pylon there. When we reach the spring, there's no pylon. Only Atea, who informs us she took care of the pylon. However, this came at a cost, because now her body is oozing abyssal corruption, leaving her with minutes at most. The traveler then recalls on his prior experiences and remembers he can cleanse abyssal corruption and does so once more to Atea. The hot spring party is now in full spring, but the traveler realized something while cleansing Atea. He couldn't fully cleanse her. There remains abyssal corruption in her system that's impossible to fully purify because it's been there for too long. Atea wasn't going to the springs because her condition had improved. She was going because it had worsened. Atea confirms this much later and then just delivers her fucking death speech to Mualani and us in private. 2 days later, we link up with Mualani, but are interrupted when a passerby brings word that the Night Warden Wars team has returned, victorious in battle. But Kachina died, so... Kachina died, so they're doing the Ode of Resurrection to, bring her back. Mualani's The Abyss's cunning comments caught Paimon's attention, to which Mualani explains, 500 years ago, when the Abyss invaded Teyvat, Natlan was hit the worst of all the nations. It was only when the Pyro Archon and all the tribe's heroes fought together was the Abyss repelled. Still, the effects lingered for some time, but what's odd is, each of the tribes suffered differently in a manner that was specific to them. They believe this happened because the Abyss has invaded the Night Kingdom, allowing them to read the memories of Natlan. The traveler solemnly thinks to himself about the suffering the Abyss has caused, but thinks nothing of the one who's leading their greatest followers. We then go to the stadium to watch Kachina get revived. Before the resurrection, the people sing the fucking national anthem of Natlan.
I could not find Kachina within the Night Kingdom, or locate her ancient name.
What?
Womp womp. Apparently, when Mavuika re-emerged, she should have done so with the resurrected person, but something went wrong here. Kachina's greatest haters make a return and throw out some wild conspiracy theories like maybe the team didn't really win, or maybe Kachina didn't contribute to the team's win and just ran. Mavuika eventually puts a stop to this bullshit, and while she says she has no idea what the fuck happens, the team was victorious and Kachina is no doubt a hero. Mavuika then puts these two little bitches in their place.
No one is all-knowing. No one is infallible, not even myself. But doubt is a means by which we seek the truth, not a weapon we wield against others.
I didn't mean it that way, Archon. I just...
If there are things you wish to clarify, then ask me directly. Doubt my answer if you wish. But now's your chance. You have concerns? State them.
No, of course not.
Even though I have said nothing to change your mind, then it would seem the truth never mattered to you at all.
Mualani, gravely concerned with Kachina's whereabouts, questions the Pyro Archon further, but again, says she don't know shit, but invites Mualani to help out, and then specifically asks for us to come along as well. When we make it inside Hogwarts, Mavuika apologizes once again about the entire situation. She says something's been happening in the Night Kingdom recently, but she doesn't know what. However, it's because of all the tomfoolery going on down there, she can't track Kachina. Until the root cause is addressed, the resurrection cannot happen. Mavuika believes the Abyss has found a way to bypass the sacred flame, but herein lies the problem. If they continue holding the pilgrimage, that's just lamb to the slaughter because this nation is nothing without the res. However, if they stop the pilgrimage, the sacred flame will grow weaker, meaning the Abyss will grow stronger. In the end, Mavuika chose to suspend the pilgrimage and just buff up the tribe's defenses till the problem is solved. In the meantime, another power will be needed to fuel the sacred flame now that contending fires will thin up. Mavuika then tells us something odd. She states the Night's Kingdom is akin to the ley lines, and also, if Kachina stays there for too long, she'll succumb to the abyss. Mavuika says in order to pinpoint Kachina's location in the Night's Kingdom, they first need to extract her ancient name, and after that's done, we need to go into the Night's Kingdom in person to rescue her. We then speak with Mavuika off to the side, and she regrets our first time meeting her are under these dire circumstances. After we all leave, Mavuika confesses something very interesting to Kanich and Yansan. It's interesting because we learn why it's to Kanich and Yansan later. The current contending fires produced by the pilgrimage is already far from enough. The abyssal corrosion plaguing Teyvat has caused a massive shortage in pyro energy, and Natlan is at its breaking point. This could be why the traveler couldn't, I want my fire powers. So with that said, the pilgrimage is already a lost cause. Until the issue is resolved, Mavuika will sacrifice her own power to the sacred flame to keep it burning. It must keep burning, because the sacred flame is feared by the abyss. Kanich and Yansan aren't comfortable with the idea, but Mavuika states she's the only one with enough power to keep the flame going, but then the conversation is cut short by a horrifying announcement.
Archon, it's the Fatui!
The Archon of Natlan. A force to be reckoned with. The secret of the ley lines is no secret to me. Long have they been destined for ruin. And since the oath made 5 centuries ago remains unfulfilled, what use is the Gnosis in your hands?
I don't know what you mean. But it sounds like this is about more than the Tsaritsa.
In times of crisis, someone must pick up the mantle of salvation. Your plan has reached an impasse, and now it falls to me to create new rules for Natlan. But before the dawn of a new age, the old must be destroyed.
I assume that's the end of your speech? Good. People like us. Let our blades do the talking! Masters of the Night Wind. Send word. The captain and his followers must be apprehended.
Alright, let's keep it a buck, boys. Let's keep it a buck. Mavuika won. What? Was it a convincing victory? Not really. But in this first round, she undoubtedly takes the win. Don't really feel like speaking about this scene at length here, because, again, long video. But there will be plenty of time for that in the future, my friends. After the fight, Kinich questions why the captain would bring up something from 500 years ago if he's here on orders from the Sarita to simply grab the Gnosis, to which Mavuika states the Harbingers typically have their own personal motives, one of which must have led the captain to Natlan. Mavuika then states someone from the Masters of the Night Winds pulled Capitano out of combat, but oddly, when she was fighting the captain, she felt a strange presence within Capitano. She'll have to investigate that later. Despite the captain's arrival, Mavuika still chooses to sacrifice her power to the sacred flame, and afterwards comments she wishes she could have nabbed a picture when she could still turn her hair into fire, indicating she's now lost this ability. Back with the Traveler and friends, we make it to the village to grab a rock made by Sitlali that can help find Kachina's ancient name. The guy who can do this, Vichama, lost his own friend Malco to the Night Kingdom 5 years ago, and is interested in also tracking down his ancient name as well. Thanks to Voodoo, he finds Kachina's ancient name, but fails to find his friends, meaning he's long gone, but does manage to see his friend's final goodbye, fucking somehow. When we return to the village, Chaska's adoptive sister rips into her for attempting this secret mission into the Night Kingdom, and Chief tells us Chaska is someone who was abandoned as a kid thanks to having a disease. When the Abyss found her, it tried to eat her, but Chaska's a fighter. Where have I heard this before? Anyway, Chaska now has a bad tendency to constantly get into fights that she can't really control. Again, with Kachina's ancient name in tow, we head back to Mavuika, who fills us in on what's happened recently with her power and Capitano. Mavuika takes us to her collection room, which just stores treasured items from some of Natlan's greatest heroes. As we speak, Mavuika relays to us she's a big fan of the idea of eternalism and a proud proponent of the block theory regarding the universe. She then speaks highly of the first Pyro Archon, stating, "He created the rules of Natlan, and his wisdom was far beyond her own. He was once an ordinary man, but then ascended to the divine throne, and once he obtained power from the heavens, created the rules of Natlan." Now what's interesting is the name used here to represent the heavens. And it's Renova, one letter of Renove, which is a demon in the Ars Goetia. Keep in mind, the Ars Goetia, these demons, this is where the gods of Tivat get their names from. This is quite a perplexing mystery indeed, my friends. Anyway, the most important of the rules created by, the first Pyro Archon was a way by which ordinary people can become Archons, also known as the Pilgrimage. Once they ascend, their inner flame will awaken. Furthermore, the sacred flame will grant them all the knowledge of the land. We then catch sight of a painting of Mavuika's family, and she tells us some stories from when she was a kid, but interestingly, when Paimon asks what became of her family, namely her sister, Mavuika gives an unsure answer of what her sister did for work. Important to note, every time Mavuika referred to her little sister, she used the past tense. Anyway, the time has come to locate Kachina, so we do, and when speaking to her, she tells us the problem with the Night Kingdom. It's that the Wyebs are being affected by the Abyss. Mavuika then says now that her power is gone, she can't do much, fucking allegedly, but she'll be watching. We head into some underground ruins, and interestingly, learn these ruins are from an ancient, highly advanced nation made up of dragons, and not the Saurians, but the elemental ones. The humans only came to live in Natlan after the fall of these dragons. It's due to this, though, no one really knows how anything in these ruins work. However, with abyssal levels rising all over Natlan, installations around these ruins have become reactivated. We eventually reach the Night Kingdom, and Malco, whose spirit is alive, fucking somehow, acts as our guide, offering to take us to Kachina. Now, the most obvious thing of note, aside from all the abyssal corruption, is the divine nail simply hovering. However, whether this is really the actual divine nail, or simply a reflection of it in the Night Kingdom, is not known. We reach Kachina and she confirms the Ode of Resurrection has been tampered with due to abyssal contamination. Malco then chimes in stating the Night's Kingdom is where the 6 main totems representing each of the 6 tribes' Wyebs reside. There are also many smaller proxy totems scattered all over that allows the Wyebs to extend their minds over the entire Night Kingdom and track down those who are lost within them. But if a totem becomes overly exposed to the abyss, it can't do that anymore. Yansun reasons there are far too many proxy totems that have been affected to solve the issue entirely, but we decide to cleanse the one that kept Kachina safe. Malco decides to stay back and defend us from an incoming monster. The monster kills Malco in about 2 seconds and then just says, "It's not the one behind all this, it's merely a big fan of the Abyss's work." Mualani and Kachina then 1v2 jump the poor feller and cheer afterwards for completing their first lick. Mualani's ancient name then begins to glow and from it emerges a big-ass nigga named Tupac. Tupac was a warrior for the people of the Springs and fought 500 years ago. Due to Mualani taking the charge and jumping that earlier lector, she awoke his words and fully embodied the ideals of the Wyeb with her ancient name, Umoja. She will unite the tribes and save Natlan. This little fist bump gives Mualani a lot of knowledge, but now's not the time to share it. We then save the proxy Wyeb totem pole through what I can only surmise is the power of friendship. The Wyeb then speaks, offers some words of encouragement to Conchita, and tells us all to go save Natlan. The power of the Abyss then surges forth like a mega tsunami, forcing us to run.
Come on, faster! We'll never make it!
You've done well. Now come home.
Apparently that wasn't actually Mavuika, but rather her consciousness that saved us. Mavuika is still at Hogwarts. When we get to her place and get checked up on, everyone has some level of abyssal contamination except for 2 people. The Traveler and Paimon, who are seemingly immune to its effects. Very interesting, Paimon. Afterwards, Mavuika relays to us the seriousness of what's going on, Natlan, as about a year before it gets completely wiped off the map. This is all the result of the cataclysm 500 years ago, and the reason Natlan got hit worse than the other nations is because Natlan has never had ley lines. What's even more, the Night Kingdom acts as Natlan's ley lines. Shortly after the cataclysm, calculations were conducted and concluded the Night Kingdom only had about 500 years to live before it was completely swallowed by the Abyss. So, the Pyro Archon of the time met with the tribe's heroes and came up with a 500-year plan. These are the memories Mualani inherited from Tupac, but one thing left her very confused. The Pyro Archon 500 years ago was Mavuika. Mavuika goes on to explain she sacrificed her life to the sacred flame all that time ago in order to be reborn in this modern age when Natlan would need her most. She was the Archon when the cataclysm struck 500 years ago and is once again the Archon now. All according to her Keku. After the cataclysm, Natlan and its tribes were destroyed, so the following Pyro Archons had to rebuild the nation and the tribe. So once a tribe had regained its full strength and was ready for war, a hero would be selected showcasing the tribe was once again ready for war. These chosen heroes would then fight alongside Mavuika once again in defense of Natlan, just like during the cataclysm. As we just saw, Mualani is one of the chosen ones. Had the plan gone perfectly, all the tribes were to have been at full strength by the time Mavuika reawoke, but Shit happens. While the chosen heroes inherited the ancient names, they didn't inherit the memories, so they don't know the plan. This is all thanks to the Night Kingdom dying. The Wyabs can't connect to the sacred flame, so the only way for the heroes to gain the required knowledge of the plan is for them to fully embody the ideals of the Wyab and really connect with their ancient name, just like we saw Mualani do earlier with Tupac. Aside from Mualani, the others who've regained the memories and are destined to fight alongside Mavuika are xilonen, Kanich, and Yansan. This leaves 2 people who've yet to awaken. With less than a year left at that. Mavuika then clues us in as to why the room is empty and reveals the trophies are what she used to get us out of the Night Kingdom. Each one held some contending fire, and together they were enough that when sacrificed allow her to Hulk smash the sky ground. Mavuika then, I don't know, fucking listens to the souls of the items she threw in the fire. We got to see her mom and little sister react to the news that Mavuika will sacrifice her life to the flame, and, they take it rather well. Her father not so much. With her little sister promising Mavuika they will meet once again. At the celebration for Kachina's return, Chaska's sister reveals to us she was trying to goad Chaska into a fight earlier to aid her temptations or some shit. I don't know. When speaking with Mavuika, she then clears up the reason for the uncertainty regarding her sister's occupation, given, a 500-year gap. She believes she became an architect, but few records survived from back then. Mavuika then asks if we'll join her in her little battle, and if we say yes, we get her full support in our journey, and an ancient name! Yeah, enticing offer, really. Which xilonen will forge for us. We then get a scene of a Fatus and the oh yeah, we also said yeah, by the way. We said yeah, we'll join her. We then get a scene of a Fatus and the captain. We learn the captain was injured in his fight with Mavuika, and now knows Mavuika has lost much of her power. The Fatus urges the captain to seize the moment and grab the Gnosis, but the captain says no. He does not fight when the opponent is weak. Never has, never will. Bro, but it's aura, nigga. This is fucking aura, dog. Leave the Fatui, man. You're too good for them. I love this guy, bro. He then admits he didn't expect who we can assume is Auroron. I think this is Auroron. I mean, if it's not Auroron, then where the fuck's Auroron, huh? He didn't expect Auroron's little smoke trick to do much. I don't know. The English text, made it seem like Capitano was in much more dire straits than the CN text would lead you to believe. To which Aurora, I shouldn't call him Auroron, to which this mysterious voice adds Mavuika could have easily dispelled the smoke, but chose not to. God fucking damn it! The mysterious voice then asks the captain, he doesn't have much time left and is hurt, so what does he plan to do? The captain then looks at the camera and eerily asks one thing.
You heard something from here, didn't you?
Now, this last scene is interesting. I don't think he was fucking breaking the fourth wall. Like... But I do think when he said, you heard something from here, he's talking about whatever presence is within him. Also, if you speak with Mavuika after the end of the main storyline, she reveals the reason people from Natlan aren't found anywhere else is because of the Wyab's protection. It's literally only within Natlan the people can be protected from the abyss by the Wyab. So, yeah, this is fun, yeah. The end.